Okay, we
And we're
see
back.
Joey. Yep, there we go. Now we've got audio
And everyone can hear.
and we can hear you.
Wonderful. So, what we're going to do right now is just take you through producing a shirt using all three pieces of equipment and the F2100 printer. Sophia, who is one of our expert trainers, is going to narrate because my voice is getting tired. And Joey, of course, who is our resident expert for all things, is going to be actually making the shirt. Okay, to you, Sophia.
Okay, so I'm just going to explain the process of how to print a t-shirt simply on the F2100. So the first step to doing that is you want to use the speed treater or a pre-treat machine. Ours is the speed treater. It takes under 6 seconds to pre-treat a shirt. You literally just load the shirt on, set your more or less amount depending on what you're pre-treating, and then press start. There, it's done. The next step is taking it over to the heat press. You want to press it for about 35 to 40 seconds, or 30 to 45 seconds, I would say, on heavy pressure. You really want to get the key with the pre-treat is really getting the fibers saturated in the t-shirt or whatever garment it is you're printing. Yeah, so you see the steam coming out. It's really 35 to 45 seconds or until all the steam is gone. You want to get all the moisture out of the shirt to get the best quality print, and you want to have the right amount of pre-treat on the shirt. Too little, your colors won't be as bright. Too much, your image will look great, but then it could affect the washability. And the temperature also is always going to be 340 degrees. Or some people do 338, some people do 337, but it does fluctuate anyway. So I like to set it at 340. You also use the silicone coated paper to protect the heat press and the shirt, because obviously you don't want to press something wet directly on the heat press. So once that's done, you bring your shirt over to the printer. We already have our image loaded in, and then there it's going to print, and you can see it. Well, you will see it coming out. I think the camera kind of adjusted. But right now we are printing our Easy for Me. Oh, there we go. And this we're printing on Garment Creator, of course, and on level 5. We're on level 5 printing this. So with the F2100, one difference is it does print the white first, and then it goes back in and it prints the color on top. In the F3070, it does all in one shot. So that's one difference. That's one thing that makes it quicker, because it has 2 print heads. This only has 1 print head, the F2100. So once this is done printing, it's almost done printing, as you can see. But once this is done printing, we're going to bring it back over to the heat press in order to cure the ink. Without curing the ink, you won't, the ink obviously will still be wet. I have had people come in here for a demo thinking that it's just literally just printing on a shirt and then you're done. But there is a little bit of a step process. So once that's done, Joey's bringing it back over to the heat press, and sometimes people like to hover with the heat press, which is kind of just like a pre-dry of the ink. And I like to do that when you have a lot of ink and you're printing at a high quality level. But you hover for about a few seconds if you have the time. You don't necessarily need to. It's not a mandatory thing. But once that's done, you place the silicone coated paper over again. And then this time you want to cure the ink for 1.5 minutes or 90 seconds, same thing, on light pressure. The heat press we have is a Geo9 heat press. It's a really good quality heat press, and it has an auto pop-up release. So you don't have to stand by the heat press and wait for it to be done curing and then possibly scorch your shirt if you forgot about it being on the heat press. So this light pressure, 90 seconds, same temperature, 340 degrees. And the pre-treat that we're actually using right now, we are using the Image Armor pre-treat. You know, there's also the Epsom brand, which is a concentrate. This one is not a concentrate, but they both work very well. Get really good results out of both. Yes, there is one for dark shirts and then one for light shirts. There's Image Armor Ultra, and then there's Image Armor Light for white or light colored shirts. You don't necessarily need to pre-treat white shirts, but I do recommend having the Image Armor Light if you decide to print on a very light colored shirt, like a light blue, like we did before, or a light green or a light pink. You definitely, if you're printing with white ink on that shirt, you definitely still need to pre-treat with the Image Armor Light or Epsom pre-treat diluted a different way than for dark shirts with the distilled water. So now it's just about to be done. Joe is gonna just hold it up to the camera for us. And I mean, we printed this before, but you know, you still get really, really good quality with the F2100. And it did not take that long to print either. And that's it on printing on F2100.
Thank you, Sophia, and thank you, Joey, for stepping in at the last minute. Back to you, Jay.